Welcome to the core course of 5th semester BTech IT students, Theory of Computation. What exactly is theory of computation? The theory of computation is the study of abstract computing devices or machines, or the older notion called automata. Automaton is the singular of automata. It's an abstract computing device. A fundamental question in computer science is what are the different models of machines or automata and what can they do and they cannot do. This mainly constitutes the theory of computation. We'll also explore computability and its related complexity. The theory of computation in its current form is contributed by the father of modern computer science called Alan Turing. He was a pioneer of the automata theory. He is a famous English mathematician. He has studied abstract machines called Turing machines even before computers existed. This is the model of computation which all of you are familiar with. We have the input device. The input is fed into the CPU. The CPU during its processing interacts with the most important component of the computing device called the memory. The memory exists in different forms. The output of the CPU is seen to the user through the output device. This is a more expanded version of the model of computation shown in the previous slide. Here I have replaced memories with temporary memory and program memory. I have also introduced what is called automaton. The automaton, which is the older notion of computer or machine, is a combination of CPU and the program memory. Obviously, input and output devices also exist. Automata exist in different forms. They are distinguished by the type of memory they have, of which the first one is, we call it finite automata or FA, where there is no temporary memory at all. The second one is called the push down automata or PDA, where the temporary memory is in the form of stack. The third one which we will learn is linear bounded automata or LBA, which is only very limited memory. And the fourth one is Turing machine, which is equivalent to the current digital computer, which has the random access memory. As we have seen, there are different types of automata which exist, like finite automata, push-down automata, linear bounded automata, and Turing machines. These automatons support different types of programming languages, or in the older notion, it is called the formal languages. So formal language is an abstract of the general characteristics of the programming language. So finite automata supports what is called the regular language. Push-down automata supports the context-free language. Linear bounded automata supports the context-sensitive language. And Turing machine supports the recursive enumerable language. A way of exhibiting the relationship between the different types of formal languages or the different kinds of automata is through Chomsky hierarchy. Now Chomsky, a scientist who has put forward the formal language theory, provided an initial classification into 4 language types, which are also named as type 0 to type 3. Type 0 languages are those generated by the recursive enumerable language. Type 1 is the context sensitive language. Type 2 is the context free language, and type 3 consists of the regular language. We can see that each language family of type I is a proper subset of the family of type I-1 from the diagram. Let us look at the central concepts of automata theory. Let us see what is an alphabet. An alphabet is a finite, non-empty set of symbols. We use the symbol sigma to denote an alphabet. Certain examples of binary numbers, lowercase letters, alphanumeric letters, etc. are given as examples. What is string? A string, also called as word, is a finite sequence of symbols chosen from sigma. There is a concept called empty string, which is denoted by the symbol epsilon. The length of a string, say W, is denoted by modulus of W, that is equal to the number of characters in the string. Examples are given. We can perform different operations on the string as well. What are the powers of an alphabet? Let sigma denote an alphabet. Sigma raised to k is the set of all strings of length k. We can also do operations like sigma star and sigma plus, where sigma star is the union of sigma 0, sigma 1, sigma 2, so on, and whereas sigma plus is the union of sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma 3 and so on. There are different string operations possible. Let W and V be two examples of strings, where W is equal to A1, A2 up to AN and V is equal to B1, B2 up to Bm. The length of W is N and the length of V is M. We can perform an operation called concatenation, which is written as WV, that is W followed by V. The example is self-explanatory. We can also perform reversal of a string, which is written as W raised to R and which is equal to AN followed by A2, A1. As mentioned earlier, these are examples of length of a string. So the length of a string is represented as modulus of that string. Say if W is equal to A1, A2 up to AN, then modulus of W is equal to N. We can have strings of different lengths. A small addition to the concatenation operation. The length of a concatenated string is equal to the sum of the individual string. That is, modulus of UV is equal to modulus of U plus modulus of V. Examples are also shown which are self-explanatory. There is also a concept called empty string, which is sometimes represented in textbooks like epsilon or lambda. A string with no letters is denoted as modulus of epsilon is equal to 0. So certain things are, if you have an epsilon before W and after W, it doesn't cause any impact on W. W remains as such. See, what is a substring? A substring of a string is a subsequence of consecutive characters. For example, if we have a string like A, B, B, A, B, we can extract a substring which is a sequence of consecutive characters from the original string. For example, AB is an example of substring from the main string. There is also a concept called prefix and suffix of a string. So let us consider an example of a string as ABBAB. The string can be thought of as written as U followed by V, and I can fix different prefixes and suffixes as shown in the example to that particular string. Exponent operation can also be performed on string. An example is a string ABBA, the whole raised to 2 is equivalent to the first string ABBA followed by the same string ABBA. So if you raise the power to 0, it will result in an epsilon string. If you raise the power to n, it will result in a string of length n. The sigma star operation, which is a very important operation. Sigma star is the set of all possible strings from the alphabet sigma. If sigma is equal to A, B, then sigma star is the set of all strings or set of all infinite strings as shown in the example. Please note that epsilon is also a part of sigma star. The next important operation is sigma plus. What is sigma plus? Sigma plus is a set of all possible strings from the alphabet sigma except epsilon. So if you have sigma is equal to AB, you will have sigma plus is equal to AB, AA, AB, BA and so on as seen in the example. And it is very relevant. The relation between sigma star and sigma plus is sigma plus is equal to sigma star minus epsilon. Let us move into the formal definition of languages, denoted by capital letter L. L is said to be a language over alphabet only if L is a subset or equal to sigma star. Sigma star is the set of all strings over the given alphabet sigma including epsilon. Examples of languages are L be the language of all strings consisting of n zeros followed by n ones. So you will have always zeros then ones. Another example is the language of all strings with equal number of zeros and ones. are different operations possible in languages. All the set operations like union, intersection and difference is possible in languages. Complement of a language represented as L dash or L complement is equal to sigma star minus L. This operation is also defined for a language where you write it as L raised to R is equal to W raised to R, where W is an element of L. An example is provided where L is equal to A raised to N, B raised to N such that N greater than or equal to 0, where the L reverse is equal to B raised to N, A raised to N such that N greater than or equal to 0. Concatenation operation is also defined for the languages. Say if you have two languages, say L1 and L2, it can be defined as xy such that x is an element of L1 and y is an element of L2. Just like we had seen the power of a string or power of an alphabet, there is also a power of a language which is written as L raised to N, which is equal to N times L. An example is given for you to understand it clearly. There is a special case where we raise L to 0, which is equivalent to the epsilon string. Most important thing, which is called the star closure or the clean closure. All strings that can be constructed from L constitutes the star closure or the clean closure. That is, L star is equal to L raised to 0 union L raised to 1 union L square union so on. So if you have an example, I have a language A and BB. If I do a star of it, I can get L0, I can get L1, L2, L3 as shown in the example. We also have a positive closure which is written as L plus, that is L raised to 1 union L raised to 2 union L raised to 3. For the same example, if you do a BB as language and do a plus on it, it will be a union of L1, L2, L3 and so on. Also please note that there exists a relationship between L star and L plus, that is L star is equal to L0 union L plus.